Hey, in this short lesson, I'd like to talk about the paper burning effect, and I'd like to show you how I made this, the overall process, um, and how to achieve the certain look. And of course, there is uh, a few things that you would probably would like to change. Let's say this. Burned paper, which probably is not looking very good. But uh, it's easy to fix actually, and the main goal is actually to show the overall process how this was done. Okay, so let's have a look uh, at our scene. So here I have my paper, fire, and the background floor. So I splitted my floor, paper, and fire itself, but the overall setup is uh, in this geometry node. Okay, so here we're starting with the grid with quite dense mesh. Then we'll mesh it just to add some variation and make it a little bit denser. Here I have a UV texture applied to it, and then I'm applying the texture that I've created, which is black and white texture, uh, to actually to color my points. Okay. Next, I'm using a small expression, which is uh, deleting all those uh, black points, and this way I have my um, paper remaining only. Okay, so here I'm applying another texture which I created, and I'm using it as a displacement. Here I'm using the ramp just to fix the overall gradient. Okay, and I'm extruding, and also I'm using this one as a color, which might not be necessary, but I used it just as a visual reference. Okay, so here I have my gradient. From here I can control my um, displacement of my paper. Okay, to give it like an old look. Then I use an attribute blur just to smooth the surface. Okay, and just visualize. Here I have my texture applied, and here's the final result. So next I'm having this edges. Also here I have um, I've applied to my alpha attribute, but then later I decided not to use this attribute. But you might if you'd like to. Okay. So here I'm selecting my unshared edges. All right, and this way I'm deleting those edges, and this way um, this way I'm cleaning those remaining uh, white edges. Okay, those colors. So, and then I use a clean just to clean up. Here I have a little, but maybe we could use some. Oh, let's leave it as it is. Um, we can clean it manually actually if we need it. Let's say blast, just double click, enter, and non-selected. So, and here we have the whole paper without any dirts. This is testing, and here's next steps. Okay, so here I'm applying a rest attribute just to keep the position, keep the rest position of this paper geometry, and then I'm applying some distortion by adding an attribute noise node. Okay, and also here I'm applying my custom noise ramp. This way I'd like to focus my points more in the center than on the sides. So this way when I have my burn effect, so I could have those pieces, smaller pieces in the center, and by the end I would have some bigger chunks of the burnt paper. Okay, so as you see, if I just, here what it looked like. Okay, and then I'm fracturing my paper. After fracturing my paper, so just to, as you see all those pieces, I'm returning my rest position, okay, to my original position. This way I'm having my paper back, and with some nice shapes. All right. Next, let me just switch that off. So here I'm animating my noise ramp. So this way I'm creating a transition value of the fracturing process. So I think this is yeah, this should be this kind of the whole as a section. So here I have noise ramp being applied, and I'm using the proximity to point. So I'm having like a point in the center. So this way I'm having this radial effect. Okay, then I'm adding some noise to my geometry. I'm playing with my scale. So if I simply look at my geometry, let's view that, and if you see, I have some animation being applied to my paper. So I'm creating a sort of a burning effect. Okay, so the paper is crumpling and getting a little bit smaller, and bending a little bit overall. And here I'm using these both results, which is controlled by this gradient that I have. Okay, so if I start, so as you see, this transition from the original paper to a burning paper have this gradual effect. This way we have a kind of a nice blending effect. All right, Here I'm adding a little bit more, but now I want to affect my um, pieces of burnt paper. Okay, so here I'm again uh, adding some gradient. All right, and let's start with the final look. So here I'm using this gradient just to create a breaking effect. All right, so we have this uh, effect of breaking those burnt pieces uh, and crumpling and getting smaller. All right, so here I'm using the same technique. I'm using the color as a control, and two, the original and the new shape. So the original and the new one comes into here. So this way we're creating this type of effect. So next, I'm having kind of this noisy geometry, and I would like to add some dynamics to it. Uh, I decided to go uh, with RBD solution, with rigid body solution, but you could also use vellum if you'd like. But I mean uh, they both are valid and will work the same. Uh, Maybe with vellum you can get some um, uh, a better look. I mean, more like uh, additional dynamics to your pieces of paper. Okay, so here I am just fitting uh, time shifting and fitting my the overall animation. Okay, and then I'm shifting it a little bit. This is post effects, so it may differ in your case. So just to match everything together, I'm using this one. Okay, and then I'm assembling it, creating a packed primitives, and here I'm starting with the adding an active attribute to our primitives, which is 0, so no dynamics will be applied in the beginning. Okay, and also here I'm having my this my color, animated color, which I will use to activate my dynamics later on. All right, next, the dynamics itself. So here we have the paper, which is the packed object, and I'm creating a deforming static object. I'm using object transform. Okay, here's the basic setup and our subsolver, and here I'm importing this color attribute that we created before, and I'm using an attribute transfer, and I'm transferring my color to our uh, paper, and this way I'm creating an expression to use my color as an activator. Okay, and then, well, actually active, uh, let's see, I have active on our, let me add it to the points. I think that should be valid. So now I'm checking whether my simulation is going in the right direction. So let's see. Alright, as you see, we have this uh, our effect is starting to take its place. Alright, so let's add a little bit more. Alright, so as you see, we have this kind of after those pieces being activated, they just fall onto the ground, just being separated. All right. Um, Also, just uh, to enhance the effect, I would probably separate those pieces twice, or maybe even more, just to turn them into very small ashes. All right, but yeah, I leave that up to you. So here's the overall effect that I've cached. All right, let me turn off the dynamics. So here's the effect. Okay, after our paper is ready, we start working on fire. So here I have created again uh, this is the um, fire path, all right, that I'm using. And the second one is just to uh, add some randomness to the fire, and also to finish it randomly, uh, and like controlling the end of a fire as well. Okay, so so it mostly will be evident on the sides, okay, on these brighter edges. And so this way I have the kind of this is the burning place of the fire. Okay, and as you see, it randomly disappearing. So next I created I actually add some attributes to my paper as a temperature with some multiplier. Okay, you can also use the pyrospread source, which is great, but uh, it also computes all those attributes and spreading effect. But again, I would like to simplify things, so I prefer to control it, and this way I'm using keyframes to create and control the effect. All right. Here I created my temperature with some multiplier, and here I'm creating a p-scale um, according to the brighter values. I want them to have more temperature and bigger voxel size instead of in the center. I'd like them to be smaller. Okay, so if I just, so the fire source, initializing those temperature, burn and fuel, and just here I'm using a temperature attribute just to remove, so the higher the higher temperature will remain, but the rest of the points will be removed. All right, so this way I will have my fire to be only on this areas, and this is the result of our fire preparation process. So as you see, our voxels are bigger on the edges, but smaller on the rest of the area, and just zero um, outside and in the center. All right, so you see how much control we have. We can control this and have very quick feedback without no simulation at all. All right, and then talking about the simulation itself. So here I have my fire. Here I do a compression, converting everything to VDBs. Okay, I'm converting to VDBs at 16-bit floor. Shaping a little buoyancy, some turbulence, and viscosity, which actually creates a smooth flames, which is good like for candles, some very soft smaller flames and soft looking fire. um, so this one we have. Okay, and fields, I lower down the cooling rate. I want the fire a bit bigger, longer, um, and sourcing is the same. Okay, and yeah, this is the voxel size. I will not simulate this, so I have this final cache. So if I just run through, so this kind of fire we have. And yeah, so then here we have our fire prepared, and then we're preparing for rendering. So here I'm preparing a few additional attributes to use it during the render. Okay, so here I'm adding some additional ramp, and I'm using it. I'm creating a paper burn attribute. This way I'd like to have like a bright edge of burning paper. All right, then again I'm using uh, another ramp which will be responsive to the burn effect. Okay, so as in this custom asset, I convert this color to a custom ramp, and ramp in this case. So, and here I'm cleaning it up, and next we're going to render. Right, so here's my render setup. This is my fire, my paper, and the floor. Um, so this is a dome light with some HDRI applied to it, the camera setup and the render setup with some motion blur activated, XPU that we use, some filtering is added, and that's it. Here we just will look at our uh, shading process. Okay, so here I have my fire material. This is our floor material. If I write just, yeah, this is the floor material, so it should be straightforward. Here, what I'm doing here, you would probably like to play with the values. I uh, I simply use these um, values to get the kind of result. All right, I'd like to have my slightly this burning effect in the bottom of the fire, and then just uh, also some uh, empty like uh, holes inside also, just to uh, create some nice looking fire, and then just some uh, hot gradients, okay, just to have that look. And this one, which is uh, like a multiplier, okay. um, yeah, um, everything is mostly the same, nothing special. All right, so here I created actually two paper materials, but I will discuss this one more, which what wanted to, because I think uh, uh, with the principal shader I could only use the um, Karma CPU, if I remember it correctly, but uh, let's just discuss this Karma material, because I think this should be uh, quite clear. But okay, let me run actually. Let me discuss both of the materials. Um, so here I have my paper is SOP number 2. SOP number 2. Let's see. Let's see them both. Okay, just all right. So here I'm using the principal shader, okay, and as you see the result with the XPU. But if I switch to CPU, I think it should give me a correct result, and I think I will just switch off the fire just for now. So as you see, the principal shader works with the CPU, but not with XPU. But just as the setup, which might be interesting to you. So here I'm using the UVs. So this is the color texture. Here is the black, which is the burn part. And here I'm using that N ramp that I created to mix them both. Okay, so layer mix, compute lighting, and shader is done. Okay, so now I would like to use this one to be able to render with the XPU, Karma XPU, right? So 1, 2, and XPU. So XPU, so here we have two shaders and a mix, and I'm using this UZ Primvar reader and I'm using this float n ramp attribute that I had had an attribute as a burning uh, attribute. Okay, so which is responsible for the mixing those two shaders. Here I have the, the texture shader, and here's uh, the burn part. Okay, here I'm adding some noise. I'm trying to um, add some white lines onto paper, but it just I was just playing with the nose just to see the result. Um, okay, but overall those attributes are working. That this what I was I would like to check. Okay, and also another attribute that I've created, the paper burn, which gives me those bright values and black values. Here you see I'm giving it some uh, high values, so you see this here I have a brighter edge that's happening. If I, for example, just give it some blue color, you might see it. Red probably. Let's do. So as you see, but in this case I would like to use some okay 5 4 3 all right. All right, so trying to cheat a little bit, I'm getting this sort of result, but let me go back to the previous values. All right. So okay, so as you see, this UC Primavera reader is to read our attributes. That's the point, but I think it should be a float. Okay, and here we're using this here I'm using this Primavera as a mixer between those uh, colored and this bright edge color as a mixer. Okay, this way I'm creating my burning paper. And yes, this way everything works nicely. Um, as you see, it's not very complicated, and also it's very good to have some custom attributes just to be able to control the overall process. Okay. Well, this is all that I'd like to share with you in this lesson. Hope you find it useful. If you like it, please subscribe for more upcoming lessons. Thank you very much. Goodbye and good luck.